Aruba, Bahama, come on, pretty. Oh, hello there. Welcome back, everybody. I apologize. It's been a while since we've done a little Squirrelcast update. I've been busy. I've had a lot to do. A little bit of personal life challenges, a few professional life challenges. Just a lot of things going on, and my brain might be scrambled eggs right now after the week I've had, but there are weeks like that, eh? And that's part of the game. So listen, I got my little stubby of 7-Up. So crack a soda open and enjoy the dulcet. What is it? The dulcet tones of my voice? I don't know. I've heard myself speak, and it sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me. So, how's everybody? Hope you're well. As you can see today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about vacationing, which is a little bit different from the talk I had previously on airports and airline travel. We're going to talk about really the me side of the equation. So how does the squirrel man go on vacation? Well, he doesn't. He doesn't like to travel. Guess what? There's a bucket list of places to go, people, but it's honestly tough to find travel time. In my life, I've got a very busy schedule of being a nutcase. So let's talk about when I do go on vacation, how does my brain work? Okay, first of all, there's the anxiety of going on vacation, of the traveling. Will I lose my passport? Will I get robbed blind? Will I die in a plane crash? What will occur to me? And this is not coming from nowhere. And I've never been on granted by the fact that I'm still speaking to you, I've never been in an airline incident. But I have been very sick on many of my trips, which include work trips, personal trips. I have gotten violently ill, requiring hospitalization or near hospitalization on more than one occasion, and not all of it related to being imbibing in the magic elixirs of spirits. Some of it was just food poisoning, when I was a lot younger. And it's funny, I've never gotten food poisoning since I stopped drinking, which is really interesting. But I'm always thinking worst case scenario because that's, I'm a nutcase. That's the way my brain works. So we start off by having anxiety about going on the trip. Then what's the next step for most people, The next step really is, all right, now I've got to book the time off of work, which for me is a huge anxiety because I see my vacation balance not as something to be used, but as a rainy day fund, which is perhaps the wrong way to go about it. You're supposed to take vacation. I've had multiple people tell me that you're supposed to use the vacation bank that you have. I just always like to think, what if you fire me tomorrow and it takes me 2 months to get a job? I better have 2 months of vacation banked. Even though I've been employed where I've been employed for, almost 11 years, I still think like that. Pessimistic much? So there's the booking the time off because I feel like I'm spending money just by booking time off. I haven't even booked a plane ticket, nor gotten on an airplane, nor booked a hotel or an Airbnb, nor gone on any excursions or eaten any food. I still feel like I'm overspent before any of that's done. Now, next step, packing for the trip. So we're going to move right along to T-minus 1 day or 2 days where I have to pack for the trip. First of all, best advice my dad ever gave me, buy ugly luggage. That's what I do. I have horrendous luggage. My current luggage is colored mustard yellow. No one in their right mind or sanity would buy mustard yellow luggage, but as a lunatic, I can always spot my luggage first off the carousel when I get off the plane. So I grab my biggest mustard yellow suitcase and I pack it to the brim because I pack for every occasion. If I'm there for 7 days, I'm packing 14 pairs of underwear, like 12 pairs of socks. I'm assuming that I'm going to be diuretic for the entire trip and require a change of clothes every day. I pack to go to a fancy dinner, even though I'm on the beach all the time, or I will pack to go on the beach, even though I'm in, the northeast of the United States on a work trip in January. So I will pack for every possible contingency that I could possibly think of. I will pack every electronic device because I will assume that I will be holed up in my hotel room due to a typhoon for 3 days, and I will have nothing to do. And let's not talk about the logic of packing for a typhoon with electronics when the power will probably get knocked out. So that's the next step, really, is getting everything into my giant yellow suitcase, including, because I am completely sane, including all of my workout gear that I will ever need. Because the one thing that doesn't stop on this train into hell is needing to do a moderate exercise every day. Not because I'm in fantastic shape, but because my brain won't work correctly if I don't. This is not because I'm competing. This is because I twitch. And so if I can't, I will be unmanageable and unsociable, non-sociable if I don't have the George morning routine set. I won't be able to relax on a beach until I've done the morning routine. Because, again, I've got a lot of problems, and OCD is one of them, and working out is one of my OCDs. So, now that I've enticed all the ladies, so that's the second part, is really packing for every possible contingency, overpacking, packing a second suitcase. I pack for my daughter. Obviously, because my daughter is not me as a human being, I'm a lot more rational in her packing decisions than I am in my own. But let's never mind that. Then there is ultimately having to go on the trip. You have to get to an airport. We just had a talk with somebody at work this week who apparently tried to book a work trip to a different destination on the globe, so not a domestic flight, and tried to show up at his flight an hour early. And guess what? He missed the plane, people. He missed the boat. He missed the boat. He had to fly the next day. And that to me is inexcusable. As a father who has traveled and who has himself parents who travel, you show up at least, and that is an at least, that is meaning a minimum, not a maximum, a minimum of 3 hours early to the airport. Now, when you go on the trip before you get the cab, and you should take a cab to the airport because airport parking is brutal, and you don't want to leave your car in an unsafe place. That is another thing that you have to think about the entire time while you're on vacation is where's the car, how's the house burned down, has the car been stolen, has the house burned down or the car been stolen, have I lost my job as a result of booking some time off. So that's really the next step, is to take a cab or some sort of limo service to the airport, not because you necessarily can't drive, but because it would be foolish to. It would be absolutely foolish. Okay, so you might tell that my brains are scrambled egg right now, and they're being held together by the coat hangers of caffeine. Okay, that's kind of the vibe that I'm giving myself as I speak. So now we've got to get to the airport, so we've got to triple check the luggage, make sure we've packed everything, check the entire house, make sure that all the windows are closed. You know that you didn't close one window, so you better check all the windows 4 times. Then make sure that the stove is off at least 7 times, the microwave door is closed, that you've shut off the water in the house. Even if you're going for 3 days, shut the water off, because you don't want to come back to a flood. You got to make sure all the lights are off. You got to make sure you have your keys. Then you got to check 6 times minimum for your passport, your tickets, your any other travel documents you may require, visas, whatever the case may be. You got to check multiple times for these things. Make sure you have them, and make sure they are in a grab bag that makes sense, okay? You got to have your on-boarding luggage, your carry-ons sorted out, and you got to be dressed comfy because the planes are cold and hot and too tight and too loose and smelly and everything. And make sure that you've drank a lot of water, not eaten a lot of food, because you don't want to have bad gas on the plane. So now you're getting to the airport, okay? First of all, you got to talk up the cabbie. You got to really chat him up. You got to be the nicest guy in the world because you're going on vacation. You're supposed to be in a good mood, even though everything inside is on fire, and you are stressed to the absolute max. You got to be the nicest guy in the world to the cab. But if the family if the family has forgotten one thing, explode like a volcano. Go completely insane and treat it like it's the end of the world. The whole trip is ruined before it started. That's generally a good go-to policy. So now, once the family's been screamed at and the cabbie's been coddled, then you go to the airport. You get to the airport 5 to 6 hours early. Let's not lie. If your flight's at noon, 6 in the morning, you're there. You're there, and you might as well enjoy a cup of coffee, maybe a drink, have a couple of meals, spend $300 at the airport entertaining your family for 19 hours, because staying at home is not an option. You may run into traffic. Okay, so at the airport, when you get into line to check in, what you have to do is judge everybody else in the line. Okay? Look at their luggage. Look at their pants. Look at their shoes. Look at the way they're standing. Look at the expressions on their face. That was the word I was looking for, expressions, and I couldn't get it because my brain, right now, scrambled eggs with garlic and salt and pepper. Maybe a bit of onion, because I'm going to cry. So, judge everybody in the check-in line, and especially the 3 people directly in front of you, the 3 parties that are directly in front of you, judge them the hardest, because they're going to be the ones that invariably screw up and hold you up from getting to security at least 5 hours early. Okay? So you've got to make sure that you've judged and judged hard. You've got to make sure that your significant other or your children know that you're judging these people, but that they shouldn't do the same thing. Okay? They shouldn't be judgmental, but you're being judgmental because it's the right thing to do, because you are trying to save the vacation before it started. All right. Get through the line. Now, should you do digital check-in or in-person check-in? I go for in-person because I assume I'm going to screw up the digital check-in, that they're going to get my thing and say I did it all wrong and that I can't board the plane. So I just go and let them do their jobs. So, get to the check-in counter, be the nicest person in the world, all right? They don't have to let you board. This is where you're going to have to put on the mask of calmness, serenity, put on the mask of I'm a normal human being who isn't completely batshit insane, and you are going to have to sell. You're going to have to sell that image, including the crying children because you've been berating everybody in line for half an hour, including the absolutely furious spouse because you've been berating everybody in line for half an hour and berated them in the cab and berated them before they left. So you're going to have to put on that mask and just smile through gritted teeth, okay, through clenched teeth, that everything is great. You've got all the documents. No one, you understand me? No one else is allowed to hold the documents. No one. No passports. No, they will lose them. 100%, 150% chance that somebody will drop a piece of paper on the way. You need to hold on to it like you are clutching the last papyrus out of the Library of Alexandria, okay? I don't know if they use papyrus in Greece. I think that's Egypt. Again, scrambled eggs. So, you need to grip like they are national treasures, those documents, because otherwise the vacation's ruined. It's over. Dunsky finito. Now, get into line of security. Now the judging, I need twice as much judging. Okay, twice as much minimum, because you are going to need to judge everybody who doesn't fly through security on a first go. If they get buzzed back through the metal detector, they're idiots. They should all be shot on sight against a wall, okay? They shouldn't be allowed to fly. They should be sent home, okay? The security agents should tackle them, pepper spray them, maybe not shoot them. That may be a little bit aggressive. That may be a little bit much, George. That's fine. So you tackle them, you pepper spray them, you put them back in the cab that they came in, you charge them double to get home, and tell them not to come back to the airport for minimum a year. Minimum a year. Okay, so you're judging the crap out of these people as they go through security, as they have to pull out the cell phones, as they have to pull out the laptops, as they have to take off the belts with the giant Texas-shaped belt buckles, as they have to take off the cowboy boots and the metal underwire bras, or whatever the case may be. You gotta make sure that everybody's getting everything off in front of you, and you're judging the crap out of them. And you gotta be looking at the family going, if you hold up this line for 1 iota of a second, I will make the following 15 minutes just the most judgmental, as if you've ruined the family moments of your life. So, judge the crap out of everybody. Then, of course, you need to forget at least 74 cents in your pocket. And possibly a small amount of toothpaste in the other pocket, okay? You need to make sure that you have to go through the the metal detector a minimum of 3 times while your spouse looks bullets at you because you've been berating the whole family for doing exactly that. You need to go through the metal detector 3 times going, these gosh darn kids, just trying to get everybody organized. I can't get myself organized. So you got to make sure that you're doing that for a few minutes because that is going to help the situation. Then what you have to do is you get to the gate. You sit down and you order nobody to move for about 10 minutes, and then you got to get up, go get a minimum of 2 magazines, possibly a coffee, maybe a couple of Red Bulls, and get your wife a bottle of water, and you got to sit there in sullen silence. And if you are the dad, which we are assuming in this case you are, you have to go to the window at the gate, even though there's no airplane there yet, and you have to watch every single airplane coming in and wonder if that's your airplane. And if when they come in, you have to check how they park. You have to look at how they attach the gate to the airplane. You have to look at the speed at which they disembark. You have to judge how fast they clean the plane, how fast those poor underpaid people clean the plane. You have to watch, and I do mean with an eagle eye, you have to watch those luggage handlers, how they handle your luggage, and you have to quietly cry as they throw bags like they mean nothing. As they throw your stuff full of electronics and family valuables and workout gear, you have to as they throw your bag like every other bag onto the plane without a care in the world, knowing that they've just smashed probably $200 worth of stuff. And again, you've not only booked the vacation that cost Vacation Bank, you've now paid for the plane tickets, you've paid for airport food, you haven't gotten to your destination yet, and you've got another $250 in damages. From there, you get on the plane, and you have to be upset about your boarding time, no matter what it is. Even if you're first, you have to assume that you weren't ready, and if you're last, everybody else is an idiot. And then you got to get on the plane, you got to tell everybody, sit down, buckle up. If the kids are getting fidgety, you got to be so upset that they are being children. And then you sit down, and maybe you can breathe for a few hours, because guess what, Buttercup? In a few minutes, the plane is going to take off. You are going to be listening for every sound on that airplane, every jitter, every jolt, every rattle, and every shake. You are going to be listening, wondering what just fell off. What idiot maintained this plane? When the plane takes off and you're safely in the air, I would suggest that immediately you exhale, you look at your children, and you set up movies for them, and then you are going to try and half sleep, but not actually sleep through the entire flight. Okay? You're going to get to your destination, guys, exhausted, grumpy. The whole white family is going to be angry at you, but you are going to land and pretend like everything's okay. You are going to make sure that you are standing not a moment before that plane gets to the gate, because no idiot stands while they're taxiing. You are going to make sure your overhead luggage is in your right hand, not like all the other idiots that have to unpile everything 15 minutes before you land, by the way. Shoes on, tied up, make sure that your documents are all, again, sorted, and no one else can handle them. You handle the documents. All the documents are sorted. You are ready to get to customs and do all the talking. No one else is allowed to speak. Okay. So, you're now disembarking. Everybody in front of you is an idiot, okay? And I do mean that. They're an idiot. They don't know how to disembark from a plane. It should be simple. It's like getting off a bus. Just you have a bag. That's it. They're going to let you on. You can't push in front of the other people. And don't be the guy that holds everybody up, because you are going to judge that person for being lazy, stupid, and unobservant. So now, getting off the plane, you go down the gangway. Try to cut as many people as you can off as you make your way to customs, because you need to be first, because everybody else is an idiot. They just showed that by getting off the plane and boarding the plane and on the flight. Okay? You know that you traveled with 300 morons, so you got to be the first in line so you're not held up by the morons. Then you get to the carousel. You know your bag's going to be last, but stand right by the thing and make sure you're blocking off other people whose bags are coming first from getting their bags in an efficient and organized manner, and make sure you are there waiting for that mustard yellow luggage. Okay? I'm going to be waiting there. It's going to be the last thing off the plane, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to put it on the trolley. I'm going to basically force people to run to catch up with me to get to a cab, and then we get to the hotel. Okay? And from there, you deal with the check-in. You be ultra polite, even though the family's exhausted with you. And when the wife gets to the room and you say, hey, guys, wouldn't you like to go to the pool? They're going to say, go away. We don't want to talk to you for at least a day. We want to go have fun and do our own thing. And that, my friends, is the start of your dadcation, is when your family abandons you because for the previous 12 hours you have been a brooding, boorish monster. Stay tuned for more travel tips.